Hey everyone, Carl here with Literate Lessons, bringing you a deep dive featuring Togekiss. I know we have already covered Togekiss before, but that was way back at like Series 7 or like Series 8. Gosh, I can't remember. It was so long ago. But with the remakes of Diamond and Pearl coming out, I feel like it is an opportune time to maybe re-look at Togekiss in currently VGC and maybe even potential Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. But before we get started on what was once the powerhouse Togekiss, make sure to hit that like button, ring the bell for notifications for when new videos go live, hit that subscribe button, it helps us out a ton, and leave a comment down below if you want to see more deep dives focused towards Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl VGC, or if you'd rather me stay on Sword and Shield. I'm real interested in covering some of the Pokemon over there. Granted, this will just be a revisit for Sword and Shield, as I haven't gotten to explore a whole ton of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl VGC yet, but if people want the content, I will look at making it. Would definitely like to hear back from y'all for that. If you've played early VGC at all, Togekiss was one of the more prominent Pokemon in the format, ranging from being full support to Dynamax attacker to mixed support with attacking moves. There was a whole bunch of different things Togekiss could do on those early VGC teams, and part of that was due to the format not really like being overly powered yet. Power creep hadn't really set in. We hadn't seen the likes of Incineroar or Metagross, Zacian, Regieleki, Urshifu, and stuff like that. However, the big thing that made people play Togekiss was its access to Follow Me. Follow Me being a really uninteractable redirection, unlike Rage Powder, which is can be immune to grass types and you can ignore it via safety goggles. Follow Me made sure that you were going to have to hit that Togekiss every time. And with its natural immunity to ground and dragon, it made a pretty good pairing alongside Steel, Fire, other dragons, and stuff like that. So it's interesting that Togekiss has fallen out of the wayside as Zacian and these other restricted dragon types have kind of rose in popularity. And the big thing is just like, I think power creep has kind of passed Togekiss by. A lot of what Togekiss was doing was in a weaker format. I think the last time we saw Togekiss was in like Series 5. And after we lost Togekiss in Series 6 and then we got the new Pokemon in Series 7, we haven't seen Togekiss since. Speaking of the history in Sword and Shield, we know Togekiss was almost a staple, I would call it, in VGC. If you weren't playing Togekiss, you had at least 2 to 3 answers to it, because it was that powerful and that common. It was a very good powerhouse with like Scope Lens, Super Luck, trying to crit things with Dazzling Gleams and Air Slashes. You could play Serene Grace, Air Slash, and kind of go for flinches over and over and over. There was a whole lot that you could do with Togekiss overall. Especially in the early series 1 to 3, like those were the heyday for Togekiss. And as we got into Series 5, when the format became more centralized, Togekiss skyrocketed to somewhere near 70% usage. However, while it offers a lot of tools for teams, and being a Dynamax target is really good too, it's not as good since Series 7. A lot of the big powerful steel types and Regieleki also have really pushed Togekiss out of the format as an option for redirection over things like Indeedee or Clefairy, something a little bit bulkier, not having as many weaknesses as Togekiss has, being a Flying Fairy type. So we saw that this kind of change in dynamic has really affected the format overall. We see more powerful steel types, which keep Togekiss down. But in turn, we see things like Indeedee, who are immune to Ghost, and there's a whole like chain of things you could do a cause and effect line of Togekiss being bad in the format means we play this and this and this and this because it was that good at the time. We're going to label this as common partners in Sword and Shield, mainly due to the fact that there is technically 2 formats right now between Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Sword and Shield. So the common partners for Togekiss in Sword and Shield tend to be very powerful ones, I would call it. Togekiss is very good at being the support on these restricted only teams. If you think about it, if you think like Zacian, Calyrex Shadow, maybe even like a Groudon or a Kyogre, all those Pokemon really do appreciate not being hit all the time. And even though a lot of them do spread damage or are going to be facing down spread damage attacks, Togekiss can still kind of keep people in that mind game of ally switch or follow me or protect and whatnot. Other things to think about, Incineroar makes a real good pairing. Incineroar is weak to ground, whereas, Togekiss can do that pivot thing with it or ally switch with it. Incineroar offers fake out protection for Togekiss if that's the case you need to look at. So they do just this really good pairing of each other being a common lead. As for Regieleki also weak to ground. It's really fast, so having a follow me user to redirect hits away from your Regieleki is also just a really good thing. Other things to consider are your powerful steel types. If you think about it, like Zacian, Dialga, Metagross, what's another powerful steel type that sees play right now? Registeel was kind of common for a while. Things like that. Anything that's just like a real good steel type, usually a very good pairing alongside your Togekiss, mainly due to the fact that you can kind of fill out your fantasy core pretty easily. You don't necessarily need dragon typing, but like coverage wise, but a good dragon type's very good defensively, kind of just like tanks those electric hits, tanks the water hits, tanks the fire hits and stuff like that. So it's nice to have that. It's just two parts of the same core for most of these sets, if you think about it. Just like Steel Fairy, Dragon's kind of whatever anymore right now. You don't really have to have it because Zacian kind of rules the roost. But you can always just have it as a good pivot typing in, like, say, like a Salamence or even your Dialga on screen. When we look at the metagame breakdown here, we see that there is a lot, and I mean a lot, that Togekiss can do. Obviously, the main things are like Dazzling Gleam, Follow Me, Protect, and Air Slash. That's super duper common. That's super duper standard. Beyond that, though, you have access to things like Yawn, Ally Switch, Mystical Fire. That's a move you don't see very often anymore. Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Helping Hand, Trick. There's a whole lot of things that Togekiss can do, and can do it fairly effectively. As for items, again, they vary just as much as the moves do almost. Scope Lens at 29% is just for Super Luck Crit Kiss, looking to get max crits out of the thing. Wakanberry is more on the Serene Grace bulkier support sets, trying to eat hits, alongside Babiri Berry and Safety Goggles. Those are more of the support style, trying to bulk up and be a good support mon kind of thing. Razor Claw does the same thing as Scope Lens, just increased crit. Focus Sash, again, looking for like offensive Togekiss, maybe not running like as much Yawn or Follow Me, but trying to do like Max Flare, Max Airstream, and Max Fairy move. As for Citrus Berry and Grassy Seed, those are more niche bulk items. Grassy Seed's really, really cool because Rillaboom is also a decent pairing alongside Togekiss, being fake out, priority, and whatnot. And it's interesting that you can boost your defense +1 with that Grassy Seed and maybe tank that Steel Spike and not have to worry about, oh, I have to have a Berry Berry to eat this hit. Or instead, you can just invest a little bit in defense and get that +1, and then you survive it all the time kind of thing. When looking to build with Togekiss, a lot of the things that you need to keep an eye out for are big steel types, obviously. Zacian, Dialga, anything with steel coverage, really. Need to definitely keep an eye out for stuff like that. Another thing you got to keep an eye out for is like Regieleki, Landorus. Trying to think of other rock coverage. Stack Attack, I used to be really, really good into it too because it was all spread moves or Gyro Ball. So definitely have to keep an eye out for all those things when you're playing with Togekiss. It needs a lot of help. Another thing to keep in mind is Togekiss can actually be fairly good at stalling on a Dynamax. As long as they're not like Dynamaxing Metagross or Dialga, or they have Zacian sitting out in front of you, you can usually redirect a couple max moves into it and tank them fairly well if you're bulky enough. While you get your other Pokemon in a better position, switching them out, getting pivots out, Intimidate, Snarls, things like that. And lastly, make sure you can maybe have a gimmick to go alongside your Togekiss. Follow Me is a very, very powerful tech to have, and being able to redirect a couple max moves that would normally punish your crazy gimmick. If you think about like Belly Drum or some like Swords Dance shenanigans, stuff like that. Usually having that Togekiss will help benefit you more than hurt you in that situation, where you can redirect that max move and then you can max your +2 whatever, or your +6 whatever, and blow people up that way. When we look at move sets for Togekiss here, we see that overall its base stats aren't that bad. I wouldn't go around playing Hustle Togekiss anytime soon. That base 50 attack is very, very low. However, you have decent defense, decent HP. Base 85, base 95, and base 115 are nothing to like write off. That's very good bulk for a Pokemon with a bunch of weaknesses like it does. Base 80 speed means that you're just a little bit slower than a lot of these restricted and restricted format Pokemon you want to be. If you think about like Dialga's at base 90, I think Kyogre's up there at base 92, Groudon's base 90, so you're just a little bit slower than most of the restricteds. But most of the time, those Pokemon don't invest in speed anyway, so it's not hard to put a little bit into speed and outspeed them. But your big caller is your special attack. Super Luck, Crit Kiss with 120 base special attack, you can just blow up Pokemon that you have no like business blowing up. Dazzling Gleam crits, being able to crit both on a good Dazzling Gleam hit is very, very good. Being able to like crit Air Slash on some like Venusaur can easily dispatch it. So looking at sets here, our first set up to bat here is just a Berry Serene Gray set. This will survive a Behemoth Blade a lot of the time, letting you get that yawn off into that Zacian, and then you could protect in front of it and not go down immediately. You also have enough special defense that you comfortably can live a Thunderbolt from Regieleki sometimes. I think it's like 16% to OHKO, which obviously isn't great, but it's better than it being 100% to OHKO. As for damage, you're looking at Dazzling Gleam here. You could also play Air Slash depending on what you wanted to do. I think you're not maxed in this version, so I think having the Spread Fairy move is going to be better than having the single target flying type coverage, but that's just personal preference. Next up, we have a Safety Goggle set looking to just go as fast and hit as hard as possible. We are timid, we have Air Slash and Heat Wave. Fun fact, Heat Wave can burn, so if you can get that double burn off with your Serene Grace boost, that's really, really neat. You also can max this Pokemon and have Max Guard with Follow Me, but then you get like Max Flare, Max, I don't remember what the Fairy type move is. Oh my goodness. It's not Max Smite, because that's the G-Max Hatterene. What's the Fairy type move? I can't remember. But, and then Max Airstream just is so powerful. Fun fact, this will deal a good chunk of damage to the bulky Venusaurs running around on the Sun teams, and you're immune to Sleep Powder as well. Things to keep in mind. Last up here, we have a Scopeland Super Lux set. This one's a little bit wonky set, EV-wise. The speed gets you to 122, so that's just a little bit slower than I personally like. I would rather be up above that 123, so that at +1, I am outspeeding base 100s. Otherwise, this set's fairly standard. You have Yawn, Follow Me, and Air Slash to kind of just deal with a lot of the format, and then obviously spread Dazzling Gleam with Scopelands and Super Luck is really, really good. Just being able to get a crit like 75% of the time is insane. When looking to defeat an opposing Togekiss, it's not very hard in this format. Almost every team has a Steel type or an Electric type somewhere, at least in coverage of some sort. So Togekiss has a lot of work ahead of it trying to beat these very powerful Dynamax targets. And honestly, this is part of why Togekiss sees a lot less play. It's just not the best redirection target right now when everything is like gunning for you. When everybody's planning for you and trying to take you out, you can't comfortably do the redirection thing, which is why Togekiss probably needs to start evolving either into a different type of support or maybe into a more offensively oriented Pokemon. We'll see what Series 11 has in store, and maybe even in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Other things to consider, if Follow Me is causing you issues, look into doing spread damage. Even if you're not hitting the Togekiss with your Earthquake or your Precipice Blades, you're still able to hit its partner. Its partner is probably likely very weak to ground, so you can easily just bop it with an Earthquake and take it out. Another thing to consider is usually if it's like it's a Fire type next to it, Rock Slide's really good as well. Being able to hit both Togekiss and their Fire type for super effective damage is just really, really nice. So to wrap up on Togekiss, Togekiss, as we all know, was once just the best thing you can do in VGC. There is nothing better than having your Follow Me, Dynamaxing, Air Streaming support Pokemon. But as we all know, it has just fallen off the face of the earth. It is now at a measly, I think, 2% usage in Series 11, whereas in the height of its pillar of its day, it was near 70%. That is such a big drop, in my opinion, that it's just mind-boggling sometimes. I played most of Sword and Shield early formats, so I was used to seeing Togekiss. I was used to playing those grindy games against it, trying to figure out how to beat it. And having it just disappear from a format overnight after the Series 6 was just insane. But it's nice to see that other teams like that played Togekiss can adapt and find other uses for Pokemon like Amoonguss or Indeedee or Clefairy and things like that. That being said, it's still a strong support option for teams that have trouble protecting their Dynamax targets. Like I mentioned, 1 or 2 Follow Me's can usually be enough to get your Dynamax steamrolling and power through theirs. Or if you can maybe max guard on turn 1 and then Follow Me turn 2 and then Follow Me turn 3. And then there's just stalled out. Perfect. That is the perfect situation. So always think about that. If you're struggling like against with Dynamax or protecting your own Dynamax, Togekiss is a great option there. And look for unique ways to keep Togekiss alive. Think about pivots. Think about like optimal protecting times and things like that. I know it's hard to protect the Dynamax format, but keeping your Togekiss alive longer means that you can get more Follow Me's off later. Think about like maybe Life Dew or having a good way to recover like HP on your Togekiss. You could even use your own Steel type, your own Fire type. Anything that could be a good pivot for your Togekiss is going to help you keep your Togekiss alive longer and get you into a better stage of the late game. And with that being said, I want to thank you all for hanging out and listening to me ramble about Togekiss today. Make sure to check us out on Twitter at LR Lessons, at Mr. Missouri25, and at Musical VGC. If you go follow the LR Lessons Twitter, you can vote in the polls on Friday for the deep dives for next week. Make sure to check out our Discord. Link is always in the description. If it's not working, you can do discord.gg/LR Lessons. That'll take you right to our wonderful Discord, where you can hang out with us, talk VGC, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, football, all that fun stuff. And remember to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, all that great stuff. It helps the YouTube algorithm send us out to new people and helps new people find us. And with that being said, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at in the world, and we will see you all on Friday with Porygon 2. Bye, everyone.